One, first and foremost, all praises, glory, and honor goes to Yahweh by Samuel Shai. By Shem Wakakodas, double honors to the elder apostles at Great Millstone. Taught us this true citation, all Yakin, pushing his word day in and day out, doing this quick lesson. She have here is what appears to be a Edomite woman, liberal, feminist, LGBT looking Edomite woman. You know, she in her 40s/50s, you know, bleached hair, Barbie shirt, you know, she's just out there, man, all the way out there, man. You know, look like she ain't got no teeth in her mouth. All right. You know, drug abusing, you know, more than likely drug abusing, or, you know, she got spirits on her. You can clearly see, you know, alcoholic maybe, you know, into witchcraft maybe. You know, she's into something, man. Because, you know, her ride here in America is abruptly halting, man. All right. So I'm going to play this video, man. Her little ride, you know, her little cruising ride for these Edomites, man, it's at a tail's end, man. All right, now Esau's catching hell. This is something, a video like this 10 years ago, you see mostly, you know, like a black woman, Native American, Latina woman would be the headliner here, but now the headliner is the Edomites, all right, or people that appear to be Esau. You know, who knows? She could be a Jake, but if she's a Edomite, you could tell, you know, some Jakes probably ran through there before. You know, them liberal Edomite women, they get down with anything. All right.
You need to check it out and try to get a repayment plan going on before they do that, because I can't afford to have my wages seized.
The Trump administration announcing today it's moving forward with a plan to begin seizing pay from student loan borrowers in default. We could see that change come as soon as January. Ozarks First, Michael McLaughlin live in Springfield tonight. He spoke to a resident still paying off her debt today and a financial advisor on how people can stay in control of their money.
Right, so when someone doesn't make a loan payment within 9 months, it'll then become defaulted, meaning that the government will have the right to take around 15% of their wage to pay off said debt.
I was not aware of that. They have already been seizing my tax refund every year.
Jessica Carey tells me she still has a significant amount of student debt to pay off.
I think it's about 60 grand or something. I got a bachelor's degree, then I went to grad school for a year, and then I did some other stuff and borrowed a bunch.
She says she can't afford to go into default.
I really do need to check it out and try to get a repayment plan going on before they do that, because I can't afford to have my wages seized. Tax season's coming up, and I don't want them to, I really needed that refund this year, so I don't know what to do.
I spoke to Richard Baker with Fervent Wealth Management. He tells me that...
Yeah, so she said she don't know what to do, man. So, hey, that's a Edomite, man. You know, because the Jake be like, man, only God can get me out of this situation. You know what I'm saying? A real Jake, especially her age. You know what I'm saying? She's saying she don't know what to do, who to call on. You know, instead of getting, you know, who knows her relationship status, but more than likely. Because one thing about college, man, higher education, it really teaches women, oh, you don't need a man. You know, basically they trying to get that education to replace their man, so they could be in that higher tax bracket. You know, they can make XYZ amount of money. You know, here it is. She done got her bachelor's and master's, or started her graduate, but then she's like, oh shit, I got bills to pay, I got kids to support. You know, 60,000 in debt. She'll never pay that shit off, man. You know. And now she's getting her assets frozen. I mean, there's a way she can get around that. I ain't gonna say it on camera, but there's a way she could get around that. They freeze one account, you can always get another, but I'm not gonna say it. Once again, I don't want to fuck up that shit. But yeah, a lot of people, they going through tax debt, school debt, and this shows you Esau's the devil. Here it is. in order to halt your payments, you got to go to more school. Go to get your, if you got your master's, go to get your doctorates and so forth, PhD and XYZ. So, and that'll halt your payments. You know, that'll buy you some more times by getting in more debt, man. You know, which she should have looked up some grants while she was going to school. Esau was always giving out grants for school. And I remember when I was in college, because I got my so-called bachelor's. I ain't used it a day in my life. And I'm pretty sure this lady, you know, because of her financial status, she's probably working in the kitchen or some restaurant somewhere. She looked like a restaurant worker or retail. You know, you could tell things ain't panning out the way she planned. You know, she probably got her degree in basket weaving like most women, and things ain't panning out, man. You know, she's not the best looking woman. She's not ugly either, but she's not the best looking woman. You know, she's like in that mid-tier range for an Edomite woman. You know, even in her youth, you know, you could tell she wasn't ugly, but not the baddest. And so, you know, nobody's going to just up and sponsor her ass. You know, she's been, you know, more than likely a lifelong side chick, or she's married. You know, her husband wasn't doing too well because the curses are falling upon the Edomite men and women right now, right? You know, her man living paycheck to paycheck also, so he ain't going to be able to up the bill, front the bill. You know what I'm saying? $60,000. That's a lot of money, you know. Most Americans don't make $60,000 a year alone in this economy, right? So yeah, shit is fucked up out here, man. All right. You know, Esau's catching hell finally. All right, a story like this wasn't news 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you always have people going through it, but this is a regular thing. That's the difference now. This is a common thing for Esau to catch hell. So, and you know, people are waking up to the college scam. Okay. Yeah, looking at us, the spirit. This is a woman saying this, right? This woman says college is a scam. Cause look, if you're my age, you're an older millennial, you know, born in the 80s. You know, we can tell you that college shit ain't worth a goddamn thing. You know, it's not worth a goddamn thing. I have my college degree for 20 years. I ain't used it a day in my life. Of course, it looks good on your resume, but I ain't used it to get a job that's, you know, that was a requirement for a day in my life, man. You know, look at this demon. It's a loan. Pay it back. Fucking Edomites. What about this country? What about this country you stole? You ain't pay shit back for the country. No reparations, no nothing, man. All right. So it's a sad, fucked up story, man. Because, you know, scriptures talk about usury, okay? We get some precepts, man. Yeah, I might start off with that, man. With the usury precept, man. Because this shit's starting to piss me off, man. Okay. I think it's with an A. Let me type it in with an A first. If it doesn't pop up with an A, then it's an E. Yeah, we living in a sick society, man. Slocky, it's usually with a U. As it's 22 and 25. If thou lend money to any of my people that is poor by thee, thou shalt not be to him as an usurer, neither shalt thou lay upon him usury yet. Which, you know, a majority of us, we done had a loan we had to take out at one time or another, or even currently in our lives, man. All right, because it's, you know, especially now, like, it's not easy to get money like it used to be. It used to be easy to get money, get a job, get a career, get benefits. Everything was easy. Now all this is hard to come by. You really gotta have, if you're unemployed, you really gotta have a bot blasting out your resume. 1,000 resumes a day type shit to get a job, man. All right, to get an interview, not even get a job, just to get an interview, man. All right. Proverbs 28:8. He that by usury and unjust gain increaseth his substance. Who runs the financial system, so-called white man? The you, especially the yous, right? You shall gather it for him that will pity the poor, man. Yeah, this guy laughing to the bank, man. Guess what? The people this is the fucked up thing. The people that are lending you the money to go to school, they don't have college degrees. How about that? Majority of them don't have college degrees. There's some of them that do, but majority of them don't, man. You know. What do they need a degree in basket weaving for? You know what I'm saying? If they're the ones that control the money, they control the agendas, they control the what they used to call it the curriculum. They control all that shit, man. You know? Only thing college, I ain't learned a damn thing in college, right? I probably learned more in high school than college. But only thing I say college is good for is good to prepare you for the real world, because you know, ain't nobody gonna hold your hand in college, be like, hey, you missed your homework. Ain't nobody's gonna hold you accountable. If you don't do your homework, you don't do it. You know what I'm saying? If you miss an exam or you miss a test or a course, you know what I'm saying? You miss class, yeah, your teacher, if they care about you, they may pull you to the side, but really they don't really do that in college from my experience. Only like high school, you know, they'll call your mama. Yeah, your son skipped school today. Where was he? We ain't getting no excuse. You know. All that's a thing of the past, man. You know, high school, middle school, yeah, they'll do that shit. But college, hell no, you on your own. You miss school, you are on your own. You miss X, Y, and Z, you are on your own, man. You know. So, but you know, it's really, you know, the job force is really about who you know, references, what they call that shit, networking, you know, things of that nature. If you want to make it in this society, go to these networking events. Go to these networking events, man. You know, you'll get business there. You get business. You get clients. You get leads. You get all these the things of this society, man. I'm just, you know, tired of this society, man. I don't care no more. I just, you know, pay my bills, go about my day, man. You know, if it's little interaction from these demons as possible. All right. Yeah, scriptures say part of the curses, we ain't going to lend to him, but he's going to lend to us. You know what I'm saying? So this money system is in shambles. It's designed to keep your ass down, especially her. You know, little Edomite dot. You know, especially her. You know, as you could tell, she probably done blew some rides to get her bills paid. You know, get her trailer mortgage paid, whatever, man. You know, she's like, man, she don't know what the fuck. You know, look at her look. You can tell she got that simple demon on her. You know. But she's in a bad position, man, because, you know, if I was in her situation, I'll, you know, ask for some programs that'll help, you know, parents or some shit, man. You know, overcome this situation, or try to get a loan modification, loan forgiveness, consolidation. You got consolidation. out here, things of that nature, man. But it's hard at her age, you could tell she's an age eater. She could be 35, man. Some of the eater might want to be 35 looking like her. They just had a history of drugs and, that done made them. And spirits, man, really ultimately spirits that done made her age, man. It's a fucked up story. Because, you can tell she's not the most evil so-called white woman out there. She's not a true Karen, right? Because she could be a Jake. But for edification's sake, it just shows you the establishment is turning on you so-called white folks. But what you doing? You watching NFL football. Over, you getting ready for the playoffs. Happy Shakir Sanders and Deion saying, right? The New Year's, but I may do a video on it. You got a lot of New Year's celebrations. I'll probably hold that off till like next week. I don't want Ratazar. Okay. You worried about your kids' college fund and what they call that shit where they hold the money. Fuck, they got a term for it where they hold the money and you get it at a certain age. Shit, I forget the name of that. If it comes back, I'll mention it. You're worried about dumb shit, man. All right. Your retirement for that's a joke, man. You talking about your retirement, your 401. If you got a 401k, man, cash that bitch out, man, and invest that shit. I may have to say it at camp next week. If you got a 401k, just cash that hoe out and invest it, man. All right. Because you ain't gonna see none of that money, man. I promise you. 1 Corinthians 3:19, for the wisdom of this world is foolishness with the Most High, for it is written, He taketh the wise in their own craftiness. So, hey, the wisdom of this world is foolishness, man. These higher education centers. It's a movie came out in the 90s, Higher Learning. Omar Epps, I think he was a track guy in the movie and shit. It was like race riots on the college campus. That's just about to come true. This year and shit, man. You're gonna have false flags 2026. You're gonna have all types of events happen, man. College campus is about to turn into FEMA camps, chipping centers. All types of wickedness about to play out on earth, man. In America, throughout the globe, man. But here in America, for real. Right, I think it was a movie or a video game called The Last of Us. And I remember one of the scenes, dude, you had like zombies and pestilences at a college campus, man. Right? Martial law and shit, man. It was at first it was martial law, of course. Then the pestilence just overruns the whole college campus and shit, man. So even the college education, man, degrees can't stop the judgment of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh. All right, because really college, I'm gonna tell you, who's college is really for. It's college is for if you're trying to be one of the next leaders of the world to come, then go to college, because that's where they recruit them. They find them. These different Masons, lower level Masons that are called fraternities and sororities. If you want to be the next leaders of this society, then yeah, go to college, man. You want to be a Greek, go to college. You want to be a Mason, go to college, because that's all it's going to lead you to anyway, because that's why it's called degrees. You got your college degree because you got different degrees in masonry. You wear the cap and gown. All that shit's Masonic, man. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness. So by their own devices, they're going to be destroyed, all right? even now, man, Mark Zuckerberg, he created the Facebook and shit. But before Facebook, you had MySpace and Black Planet and shit. But the difference, I'm gonna tell you the difference between Facebook and all them other social media. You had different social. You had the Northern Tribe one called Mi Gente. You had the Black Planet. You had the MySpace, but Facebook was the first one that you had to use your real name. And it started off for college students. I remember that shit because Mark Zuckerberg, he's my age, man. I remember when Facebook first came out in the mid 2000s, man. And it was just for college and high school students then. Okay. So it's nothing but a database to track who you knew. Right. That's how Facebook started. That's how. Because, Esau, we have a census every 4 years or whatever, 10 years. But people don't fill that out, man. People don't fill it out. But guess what? People on social media. So he's like, that's how he uses, keep track on the masses or count the masses. It's through social media for real. All right. Let's see if there's any more meat on this. And again, the Lord knoweth the thoughts of the wise and these different elites, right? And that they are vain. Yeah, man. What's the vain? That New World Order, man. You're not gonna achieve it, man. All right. Like, what does goddamn Darwinism? Going to cause you learn about Darwinism and evolution and shit. What does that got to do with life, man? With the truth, nothing. It's Isaiah 31:1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help. See, this Edomite lady, she's going to go to Egypt for help, man. That's why she's doing this news clip, man. Which she could be into, her left hand magic, man. She got on that little pendant and shit, man. A lot of these, it's nothing wrong wearing pendants, but a lot of these women, they into that shit, man. Different energies and shit. Okay. Somebody said 60 grand and she like 60 years old now. I don't think she's 60. She's probably in her 40s. 40/50. She just looked old. You know what I'm saying? She just looked worn. Not old, but I just say worn.
That.
You know what I'm saying? Like, she might have a body on her, so you just seen the top half of. She might have a body on her, man. So trust me, this nigga's hitting that joint somewhere. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, the total U.S. debt is almost 40 trillion. I think it's about 38 trillion. Let's take a look at it, man. Yeah, damn, it's almost 40 trillion, man. It's 38.5, man. It's like 30. It just hit 38 about a week ago. So we're like another couple weeks away from 40 million. All right. And then they got some nerve. Oh, yeah, you owe a few $1,000s. What about this country? What do they owe, man? Okay. So I'm going to end it there, man. It's just starting to piss me off doing this lesson. Sometimes you don't know why you did this lesson, but the Lord ultimately wants this information to come out, man. This devil got some nerve, man. So I'm going to end it there till next time.